So we were going to Pet Shack with Sam and Brian, her boyfriend. She texts me on. She goes, "I will pay $1,000 to not have Brian come with us."
Fuck you, Brian. Hey, adventurers. Welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kayla, and today we're going to talk about a Disneyland Good Neighbor Hotel that I personally love. It's my favorite. Everybody I know loves it. It was recently remodeled. But first, I think we need to talk about what a Good Neighbor Hotel is.
Yes, because I would rather vacation in my garage than stay at a Walt Disney World Good
Yeah.
Neighbor Hotel, unless it's the Four Seasons.
Right, right.
However, in Disneyland, it's a very
Oh,
different
yes.
experience, and sometimes even closer to the parks than some of the Disneyland
Yeah.
resort hotels, and almost always more economical, but not necessarily compromising quality.
Right. Yeah. So there are a variety of different categories of Good Neighbor hotels. So when you think of Disneyland resort hotels, so the Disney owned properties, they all sort of fall into the same bucket. Unlike Walt Disney World, where you've got your value, your moderate, and your deluxe, I would say that Disneyland, they're all in that deluxe category, just different price points along that category. And with Good Neighbor hotels at Disneyland, you are typically walking distance. I would say that 80% of the Good Neighbor hotels are walking distance. They're called Good Neighbor hotels because they have a contract with Disney. Disney has vetted them and said, yes, this is a place that we think meets our standards and is an acceptable place to send our guests. You can then make a vacation package with these Good Neighbor hotels in the same way that you would with an on property hotel. So you'd pay that $200 deposit, have your tickets and your hotel all put together in one nice shiny package. But there are a lot of different options. So if you are a Marriott person, there's Marriotts. If you're a Hilton person, there's Hiltons. If you're a Motel 6 person, there is a Motel 6. I know. So
I don't think anyone's a Motel 6 person,
I
at least not
mean,
intentionally,
you know,
right?
the one caveat I will say is that if you are wanting to do a Good Neighbor package, it is the equivalent of booking third party. So if you are trying to get your points, you're not going to get them booking a package, but you get a lot of perks.
Get a lot of perks, and best part is you're just putting that $200
Mm-hmm.
deposit down and not having to pay for tickets in full that are non-refundable, all
Yeah.
that good stuff,
Yep.
right? So the perks outweigh
Yeah.
the points in this case.
Yeah. And you can still, so I had clients actually stay at Marriott a couple of months ago. They did a Good Neighbor hotel package, but they were the kind of people that still really want to have access to the lounge. And so they were still able to go and purchase day of check in lounge access at Marriott. So, like, you're still able to take advantage, typically, as long as there's availability of the different things that may be incentivized if you're wanting to utilize your points or your membership. So, that's just something to keep in mind, too.
And usually, once you're on site in those places, specifically Marriott's, things you do purchase, like at a spa or any, you do
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
points for that.
It's just the stay itself.
You're just not getting points on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stay. So, all right. So we're talking about Candy Cane Lane. I know that's
So,
not the name of
I
it,
hate you. It's
but
Candy
I,
Cane
I can't
Inn.
help. I mean, who came up with that name? It's so like name something Christmas related,
It's
and who doesn't like
so
get a warm heart?
funny because I was just like trying to Google to see what year they opened, which is 1957. So they've been around for pretty much as long as as long as Disneyland Park has been
Yeah.
around. That being said, I see something here that says the hotel opened on Christmas Day,
Um,
and they had a different name in mind, but Walt Disney didn't like the name. And so they named it Candy Cane Inn because it opened on Christmas. There's nothing candy cane
no, it's not Christmas themed.
related in
But
any
if you
way.
say to me, "Do
Yeah.
you want to go to Candy Cane Inn?" I'm saying yes. I won't even say where it is. I'm like, yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
magical.
Right.
Take me there.
So Candy Cane Inn is my favorite Good Neighbor hotel. I've been going there since I think my very first visit, we stayed at Candy Cane in the early 90s.
So what do you love about it? What's the
Oh my gosh.
outside of the nostalgia?
Right,
Because
right,
you
right.
got the
Which the rooms were also like it's been around since 1957, but actually when the parks closed in 2020, they took that as an opportunity to completely renovate. So every single room was renovated. I think they reopened in 2023. So it took them a while to reopen, but the rooms are all like newly furnished, hardwood floors. Like it doesn't feel like it's from the 50s, which is great. Okay,
because
things that I love about
there
it.
are some good neighbor hotels who have not been
There
renovated.
are. That is true. And I will say the one caveat about Good Neighbor Hotels as well. I know I already said there was a caveat, so this is actually probably a second caveat, if not a third, is that a lot of them are motel style. Candy Canaan is one of those. So you're going to have a 2 or 3 story building typically. There may not be elevators. You're going to have outdoor stairwells. Your room opens to the outside, typically to a parking lot. So it sounds awful, but it's not. I mean, I guess if you're used to it, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, it's also, I mean, motel style in California, in
Right.
Southern California,
That's fine.
is
Yeah.
not so
Yeah.
rough.
If it's motel style in Florida where it's pouring down rain, it is not great. But
Right.
so things I love about Candy Canaan. One, super easy walk. You're not having to cross any busy roads because you are literally backed up to Cars Land. So you can see the backside of the Cars Land like dioramas from Candy Canaan, which I think is great. So you're crossing, there's 2 crosswalks. One of them is the bus entrance in and out of the parks. So, like the shuttle bus for the parking lot that's off site. And then another one is crossing a street, but it's not a busy street. It's not like a Catella or a Harbor, which are the 2 streets that intersect right at the edge of property. So I love that. Not only is it an easy walk, it's also got a free shuttle like branded to the hotel. So if you don't want to walk, you can catch the Candy Cane and shuttle and it'll take you to and from the parks.
How long is the walk?
Like maybe 10 minutes. It's a very
Okay.
short walk. So you're not saving a ton of time, but if you're trying to wrangle 3 kids and it's 10 p.m. and you're from the East Coast, so it's really 1 a.m. and they're exhausted and screaming at you, throwing them on a shuttle is probably going to be the easier path for you.
Yeah, that might be
Or you've got hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of droids and lightsabers. Yeah.
merch. So less than a mile walk
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So location's great. Price is pretty good too,
Location's
right?
great. Price is pretty good. It is, I will say, comparatively to other like motel style options that you have for Good Neighbors, it's going to be on the higher end, but it's still going to be cheaper than like your Marriott or your JW or even like another hotel that we're going to talk about is the Courtyard Marriott because they've got a water park. So like there's trade offs. Um, but price point wise, they have different levels too. So the different levels get you just like extra benefits essentially. But everybody has an included continental breakfast, and it's a good breakfast. There's usually like hard boiled eggs and yogurt and things like that. So it's a good option. It's also one of the few like family owned and operated hotels in the area. Almost everything around is a chain. And Candy Canaan is not that way, which I personally love to support a small business when I can. So it's really great to see that we're 70 years almost past when they opened, and they're still going strong as a little independent owned hotel.
It's the
Yeah.
location. So it's right near the JW then.
No, it's on the
No?
JW is around the corner. So
Okay.
you're not having to turn at all.
Got it.
You are literally like the property ends on Harbor and then Candy Canaan is right there before you get to the light where CVS and Rite Aid are.
Hmm.
It's before that. Like that's how
Okay.
close it is. It's just on the Disneyland side of. So to give everybody context, there are hotels that are closer, but you have to cross a very busy street in order to get to Disneyland. So this is one of the closest hotels, and this is the closest hotel on the Disneyland side of the road.
So let's talk amenities. And we know the rooms have been renovated. Do the rooms sleep four or five?
I believe they sleep a maximum of 4.
Okay.
So they're not going to be a good option if you have more than 4. They all of the rooms are the same size. They're all the same layout. So there's a difference in level of service, which I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember the specifics because I've only stayed like the basic level. But you get like extra water bottles in your room and things like that if you pay for the higher levels.
What about like amenities with pool? I mean, generally,
There's a
most of the
pool in
good
the front
neighbors
too.
though are real small pools. I mean, you're not going there for the pool,
Yeah,
but
it's in the middle of their parking lot. Um, it's funny. There's someone on TikTok who's like reviewed every Good Neighbor Disneyland hotel, or like she's like working her way through reviewing all of them. And her complaint is always like, and then the pool is in the middle of the parking lot.
is it raised? Is it raised above the like
No, it's not.
in
It's
ground? Okay,
yeah, it's literally the same level as the park. Like you can see cars from the pool, and people in cars can see you in the pool.
interesting.
But it's a cute little pool area. It's not a bad pool area. But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
in the middle.
there's
Yeah,
a pool.
in the middle of the parking lot.
What don't you like about it besides maybe the pool in the middle of the parking lot?
I mean, I honestly haven't stayed there since they remodeled, so I didn't love how dated it was. But now it sounds like that has changed and it's much better. And I love a hot breakfast, but also like beggars can't be choosers. So if you're gonna give me free food, I'll eat it. But like I would love some bacon, personally.
That's fair. So I mean, but include a breakfast though is
An included
still pretty
breakfast is
nice
nice. And I
deal.
will say that it seems like more and more Good Neighbor hotels are stopping doing the free breakfast, which is too bad.
I think one of the things we've talked about before, but I've never stayed in a good neighbor hotel. I have toured them. I've never stayed, and that is in part of,
Chris is too bougie, everyone.
well, that is accurate. But if I'm being honest, if I'm going to fly
Yeah.
6 hours to right across the country for 6 hours, then get in a car and drive 50 minutes from the LAX to Anaheim, right? I'm not staying in a good neighbor. I'm doing the whole experience. I'm
Right.
doing it up. Where for you, it was like you could easily get there living on the West Coast as a child, and it was a much
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
experience.
It's a good spot though. If you're going to want to stay somewhere but you're wanting to save some money, it's a good place. Again, they've been around since 1957, so like there's obviously a reason that they're still around and not like rebranded or some big hotel chain hasn't bought them up. So, I think it's a great spot. That being said, we are going to talk about other Good Neighbor hotels because I think that it's important. We didn't do this with Walt Disney World Resorts because there are so many Walt Disney World Resorts, but that's not the case at Disneyland. And I would say a solid 90% of people that are staying in the Anaheim area are staying at a Good Neighbor hotel and not at a Disneyland hotel. So,
Mostly out of like necessity because there's
yeah.
just not enough.
Yeah, and I will say too, the
Yeah,
the other thing about Disneyland that's drastically different than Walt Disney World is that as soon as Disneyland opened, all these companies came in and bought up all the property around. So you really are, it's so easily accessible. Where Walt Disney World, if you're not staying on Walt Disney World property, it's a pain in the ass to get anywhere.
right.
So that's not the case at Disneyland. And that's why I think there are so many Good Neighbor hotels too. Yeah.
Wish I would have bought land around Disneyland.
You weren't even alive.
No, I know, but
If only someone in your family had
one
had
could
that
hope.
foresight all those years ago, generations
Damn it.
ago. So, we will be talking about
Mm.
some other Disneyland Good Neighbor hotels. Keep listening, and until next time, let's just go.